Let me say, I don't think Gronk is as great as people think he is. Anytime Gronk has been matched up with a corner, he's had a very bad game, and that corner has had a very good game. All right, Jonathan, Vilma, did you, I'm trying to do the math in my head. Did you play against Gronkowski?
I played one time against Gronk.
Okay,
Yes.
so is there anything to what Ramsey is saying?
Well, yes, there is absolute truth that if a corner is matched up against a tight end, the cornerback should have a great day. That is why Rob Gronkowski is such a good weapon to have, because as a defensive coordinator, if you have to put a corner all game long on a tight end, you have mismatches across the board on the other side. You're either stuck in nickel or you're going to be light playing the run. So that is what he brings to the table. So I would expect you to have a good game. And frankly, I would be very disappointed if Jalen Ramsey bragged about having a great game against a tight end.
Yeah, you saw in the league the Gronkowski effect, which was all of a sudden teams were going out and trying to find these 6'5" tight ends in order to create these mismatches. If nothing else, that's how Gronkowski has affected the league, and that's part of his legacy.
Listen, let's just say it, okay? I mean, Jalen Ramsey's a great player, and I enjoy the candor, and I like how blunt he is, and he can say whatever he wants. To suggest Rob Gronkowski is not a great player is just steadfastly ridiculous, completely ridiculous. And I don't have to have played any years in the league to do that. I can see what's going out on the field. Gronkowski is as significant and unique a weapon offensively as we've had in the league for the last 8 to 10 years, and a huge part of the reason why Tom Brady is Tom Brady. It was just ridiculous to suggest he's not that good.
I think that Jalen Ramsey is looking at it from a very, very narrow lens. When you're a defensive coordinator, you're saying, all right, what are our matchups? How do we stop this? And then how do we defend it? Then how do we teach that in 4 days to get ready for a game? That's the part that makes Gronkowski so dynamic.
And to be clear, he did say, I don't think Gronk is as great as people think he is, which is always a moving scale, right? Well, who are we talking about? Are we talking about the Patriots brass and how valuable they think he is? Are we talking about Jets fans or people who are in the division? I mean, that changes from person to person. He's simply saying maybe he isn't as good as the hype machine that's been created.
And how about just this trash talk? The notion that Ramsey is out there saying all this stuff. How will that play with teammates, and how will that play around the league?
Well, I'd say in his defense, as bluntly as he speaks negatively about players, he has spoken glowingly about other players, saying Deshaun Watson is going to eventually be the best player in the league or the MVP or whatever he said.
Yeah.
So it's about how frank and blunt he is, but he's too physical of a corner.
But that list is small, isn't it, Vilma?
It can be small.
It's a lot smaller than the trash, decent, average list that we saw come out
but you
in
have
the
to think
GQ
about
magazine.
from his perspective. He's coming from the perspective of, I am one of, if not the best cornerback in the game. So the guys that I play against, and when I match up against them, they're not that good.
But I would
That's the way
also
he's looking
say
at
you
it.
can also be great and recognize that other people are great. It's not an indictment on him, right? Like, he's capable of doing that, isn't he?
Yes, he is capable of doing that. He is. But when you have a defensive player in that narrow lens, and he just looks at the guy and says, when I match up against him, he stunk. He's just missing the when I match up against him. So he just says, he stinks.
Oh, look, I mean, Jalen Ramsey is a great player. There's nothing about no one who knows anything is disputing that. And I love the blunt nature of what he's saying. I mean, if that's his opinion, he is more than entitled to it. Yeah. But obviously, then people have a right to disagree. And to me, it is just a simple statement of fact. Rob Gronkowski is a great player, too. And that's just as simple as that.
I would have an issue if he was talking about their character. He's just talking about them as players.
Yeah.
I think he stinks.
Trash.
Yeah, trash.